So Swiss Beats recently shared his reaction to a moment between Usher and Alicia Keys at the Super Bowl. What's up, it's Asia Sky for Hip Hop DX, and check this out. Swiss Beats has responded to Usher and Alicia Keys' steamy moment at the Super Bowl when they performed their collaboration, My Boo. Swiss Beats, who has been married to Alicia Keys since 2010, was seemingly aware of the internet chatter over the moment in which Usher placed his hands around Alicia Keys during the halftime show on Sunday night. Swiss made it clear that he had no issue at all with the performance, writing on Instagram, "Y'all talking about the wrong thing. Y'all don't see that amazing dress covering the entire stadium? Tonight's performance was nothing but amazing with two amazing giants. Congrats at Usher and my love at Alicia Keys. That song is a classic. We don't do negative vibes on this side. We make history." Now, many fans watching the Super Bowl halftime show commented on the viral moment, with one person joking on social media, "Keke Palmer baby daddy somewhere talking about, see?" Another user said, "Hugging somebody's wife in this way is crazy. Usher don't give a." One person who did not enjoy the seemingly flirtatious moment was Boosie, who demanded an apology from Usher. Boosie wrote, "At Usher, enough is enough, bro. You need to apologize to Swiss. She married my... I know that wasn't planned." Undefeated world champion boxer Gervonta Davis also had a negative reaction, tweeting out, "Usher would have been on his way to the hospital as I write this if I was Swiss." So what are your thoughts on Swiss Beats' reaction to the internet jokes about the Usher and Alicia Keys moment? And what were your thoughts on the moment? Go ahead and let us know in the comment section.
All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus a so-called black man. And the clip that I played was a snippet of the event that took place at Super Bowl 58 halftime, which featured two artists known by the name of Usher and Alicia Keys, who performed their hit single from back in the day, I believe 2004, titled My Boo. 20 years later, they played and performed it at Super Bowl 58, which was just this past Sunday, okay? And what you seen on display was a microcosm of what goes on in today's world, okay? In the, event of the co-worker or the guy friend from high school / college, or the gay friend, okay, that the woman has. And she tells the husband that there's nothing else outside of a friendship. Okay, but that could be further from the truth. So what you've seen was a microcosm of what goes on in today's society, not just the workplace, but in general, overall, where the woman tells the husband that she has guy friends and that he has nothing to worry about, because either what? The guy friend is gay, or the guy friend is a long, friend from her childhood or her high school or her college days, or the guy friend is just nothing but a co-worker from her job, okay? All this could be, couldn't be further from the truth, okay? And this is Ecclesiasticus 5:15. And it says, "Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small." Now some people may look at the Super Bowl halftime show and think nothing of it, okay? That's just, these two artists, rekindling something that they had back when, this hit came out in the early 2000s. Excuse me. But they couldn't be further from the truth, because back then she wasn't married and she didn't have a husband. Okay, now it's totally different. She has a husband. And that person, whether it's Usher or a co-worker or, even if it's a so-called gay friend, should respect that vow, okay? But we know here in Babylon that these vows aren't to be respected. They're just in show only, okay? There's no substance behind them, okay? You can do what you will. Do as thy will, Thelima, okay? So what you seen was a microcosm put on display for the world to see, which also in itself is programming the youth to come up after that to show that, you can have a relationship outside of your marriage with another man, speaking of the woman, and think nothing of it, okay? It's just all, it's just all in fun or just all in show business, okay? In this incident, okay? And yes, Swiss Beats had to play it off and say, there's nothing to it. Don't bring those, negative vibes over here, because what is he going to say? He doesn't want Alicia Keys, which isn't even her real name. You know, Keys is not her real name. And furthermore, if you remember her playing that little boy on the Cosby Show, where Bill Cosby put that, kid on his knee and was bouncing him up and down, that was Alicia Keys, okay? Portraying a little boy. So, these, whether you want to call them, whether you want to call them implants or not, but these names, they are to signal, different things, okay? So the keys, I'm not going to go too much in it, but, the keys represent something, okay? The keys to what? The keys to whatever, MLK programming or whatever you want to, associated with it, but that's not her name, Alicia Keys. Just like Usher, just like Swiss Beats, okay? These are all, actors and actresses on stage, to convey a message. And the message that was conveyed through this halftime show is what? That a woman that is married can have what? A guy friend in the workplace, whether it's, a gay guy friend or just a regular coworker, okay? That there's no, differences between the two, okay? They're just friends, all right? And that's to be expected here in this city, which is Babylon, the land of confusion, okay? Where the woman can have whatever she wants because she's put on a pedestal and worship under that mother goddess, deity, okay? So yes, Swiss Beat had to say that. It wasn't like he had a say-so and she was just going to automatically, listen to his directions or his commandments without giving him any type of, mouth or feedback. So he went ahead and did the next best thing and went along with it and said, hey, you guys need to worry about that red dress that she wore that covered the whole Super Bowl outside of, worrying about some guy dancing up on her, all provocative and what have you. And that's when you see the comments from the two celebrities, such as Tank Davis, a boxer, saying if that would have been his wife, he would have knocked Usher out. And the rapper that goes by the name of Boosie said what? He would have, had choice words to say to him as well, because, that's disrespecting, okay? But it's to be expected here in Babylon the Great, where you can get away with anything you want, okay? So be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small, okay? Because to some it was just a small, but to others it was great, okay? And we're going to see what the Bible says about that, okay? The deciding factor. So let's go over to St. Matthew, the 5th chapter, and let's pick up from there. Okay, we are in the book of St. Matthew, the 5th chapter, and the 27th verse. In red letters is Yahweh Shai speaking. And it reads, Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart. Right? So if you look at a married woman in that way that you've already lust over her, wanting to have her, you've already committed adultery in your heart, in your mind, because if you think it out in your mind, you're going to play it out in real time. Okay? So like I said, you see the microcosm of what goes on in today's society, okay? Speaking predominantly in the workplace, where you have the, male and female dynamics, okay? Where the male comes in contact with the female, whether she's married or not, you put those two individuals in a workplace, they're going to have some type of relationship. Now, the female tells the husband that what? There's nothing to worry about. That's just my friend from work, or that's just my gay friend from work, or however it may be that she conveys the message back to her husband. Okay? Letting you know that what? The woman shouldn't be in the workplace because that sows dissension amongst the two. But Esau Edom, through his movement, feminism, brought the woman into the workplace, allowed her to come into the workplace and took her out of the house. Okay? So it's all by design in the first place anyways, to break up the household, speaking, predominantly of the so-called black man and black woman. Okay? So 28 says, but I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart. Now some may say that this was a performance. It wasn't an actual, feeling that Usher had towards Alicia Keys. But like I said, this is a microcosm that you see in the workplace, okay? When you go into the workplace, speaking particularly in the corporate business, and you have the dynamics between the male and the female, okay, that male that's at the workplace isn't going to be Usher, keeping it professional. Okay, that male at the workplace is looking to, get his, next step closer to being intimate with that woman. Okay, and that male at the workplace doesn't care whether or not she has a husband or not. Because here in Babylon, you have these affairs that go on all the time. Excuse me. You have these affairs that go on all the time at workplaces. Okay? And not just workplaces. You even have them in these so-called churches, these temples built with hands. You have pastors and preachers sleeping with women in their congregations that's married, okay? So it says, but I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out. So if your right eye is causing you to look at this woman who you know that is already married in a manner that you want to, do something to her, in the sense of you want to have intercourse with her, pluck that eye out. Why? Because it says, and if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not the whole body should be cast into hell. Right, so Yahweh Shai is telling you, if that member of your body is causing you to commit this, fornication in your heart, your mind, it's best that you get rid of that member, that you don't end up in hell, which is the grave, okay? Because back in the, ancient days, the punishment for adultery was death by stoning, okay? So it's best for you to lose one, member of your body than to end up in hell, in the grave, okay? Verse 29 says, verse 30 says, and if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. Right? So you see the message that Yahweh Shai is conveying. Okay? If you think in your heart, your mind, that you want to have intercourse, or you lusting after this woman, that full well she's married, that what? It's better that you cut off one of your members than to have your whole body, cast into hell. Okay, the grave. What could be that same analogy used today? If you working around a woman at workplace or whatever, and she's married, and you see that, you can't help yourself, it's best that you quit that job and look for another job so that you don't, commit adultery and fornication with this woman, knowing that she's married. Okay? If you can't control your urges and your senses, and you think that, you've been meditating on this for a while, that you scheming on a way how to get this woman in a vulnerable position, knowing that she's married, but you still got to have her and you can't fight it, it's best that you just walk away from that job at all. Just cut that job off, okay? So that you don't be tempted to what? Commit adultery, all right? So in today's society, it's not frowned upon that a woman could have multiple, what's the word I'm looking for? Multiple mates, I guess you can say, okay? Because now you have, different type of marriages. You have a E&M marriage, or you have a marriage where you could swap with different spouses, swingers, I believe what it's called. So these things are, encouraged in this society, okay? Which is Babylon, confusion, okay? Letting you know that, this place is prime for judgment, man. Because, you could have a halftime show with potentially millions of people watching across the country and probably worldwide as well, and put on a show where you have a woman who's married, knowingly married, and have this type of interaction amongst two, okay? All in the name of entertainment. Okay, you have to ask yourself, was this really required for them to get this close to, convey this message of being my boo, knowing that she was married and back then she wasn't married, okay? Where's the respect? Okay, there's no respect for this, okay? There's no respect for marriage at all right, in today's society. And that's given that today's society don't even, honor what marriage truly is anymore, okay? Marriage was, initially supposed to be of a virgin, okay? Now it's all just about a piece of paper, going down to a courthouse and signing a piece of paper or whatever, type of wedding you want to have to try to solidify the vows as being married, okay? So, even by that standard, still it isn't, respected in today's society, okay? And this was a microcosm put on stage for the whole world to see that what? A woman could have more than, one man. She could have her husband, and then she could have her co-worker or her gay friend, okay? And it was put on stage for the whole world to see, programming, the youth, the upcoming youth to be under that same vibration, okay? Letting you know that what? The wicked is in control, okay? Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not him, then who? Okay, and he's promoting this lifestyle, through his venues that he put on stage for the whole world to see. Ephesians 2:2, the prince of the airwaves, okay? He uses his airwaves to convey messages, whether it's these big time venues like the Super Bowl or the NBA finals, or whether it's his movies that he put out, or whether it's his TV shows that he put out across the airways, he conveys messages throughout them, okay? And whether or not you're able to pick up on them, that's up to you. It's not on him, okay? He's putting it out there. If you can pick up on it, then fine. If not, you're going to be under that programming. So this was more than just a halftime show, okay? This was to show you that what? A married woman could have a close relationship with a man outside of her marriage, okay? And that's completely going off according to the scriptures, all right? But that's to be expected here in Babylon the Great. Isaiah 5:20 says what? Let's go there. Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. Okay? That's what you see. It's just a good old, halftime show. Nothing else to think about it. There's no harm, no foul, no done. They still got on all their clothes. It just got a little bit provocative, But outside of that, it was just a good, halftime show. That's how they sell it to the public, to the mass. Woe to them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness. Okay? A no marriage between a woman and a man is yet being glorified in the form of a song that happened 20 years ago when this woman wasn't married, allegedly, okay? Because these marriages in Hollywood are just all for show, okay? These celebrity marriages and all this stuff right there, it's just all for show, just to keep you know, the ball moving, per se, okay? It's all been, what's the word? It's all been orchestrated, all right? That's why they have these names, Alicia Keys, Swiss Beats, okay? These stage names, okay? They being paid. They are being paid by Hollywood, whatever you want to call it, okay? This is all a show, a stage, okay? You just watching it and being seen and being able to be allowed to be seen, firsthand through your television. Okay? It says, woe to them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. 21. Woe to them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Woe to them that are mighty to drink wine and men of strength to mingle strong drink, which justify the wicked for reward. And that's how they justify the wicked, by rewarding them, by paying them. You think they just did that show for halftime for nothing? No, they got paid, for being wicked. They were rewarded with a lump sum or however much revenue that the Super Bowl halftime show brought in. They were going to get paid. They could care less about their, marriage vows or what have you. It's all about the money, okay? That's what Swiss Beats was talking about. Why are you trying to bring those bad vibes over here? We just trying to get this paper, okay? And keep it moving. It was just a business transaction, nothing else, okay? But to the mass, it's more than that, okay? To the public, they see it for what it is, okay? A reunite song amongst two, top artists at that time, back in the early 2000s, that had a hit single, speaking particularly about Alicia Keys, My Boo. That song resonated with, however many people back then, and even probably more the same right now today. So that meant a lot to hear them sing that song and to see them come back and rekindle that, that, that magic or whatever you want to call it from back then in the early 2000s, okay? So it says, which justify the wicked for reward and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. Right. So that played a significant part. The wicked was rewarded and it took the righteous away from the righteous. Okay. So yeah, that's how they reward the wicked. They pay them off, and in return, they convey these messages throughout their performance. Okay. Whether it's, acting or singing or what have you, okay? They get rewarded for their wickedness, all right? And make no doubt about it, having a well-known marriage, but yet having another man grind up on you like that, that's complete wicked, okay? Make no doubt about it, all right? And they can wave it off or blow it off as just, just a halftime show. But like I said, it's a microcosm of what goes on in today's society, particular the workforce, the corporate world, where you have the dynamics between the male and the female in one workplace, okay? So we're going to go ahead and close out with that in 1 Peter chapter 5. And let's pick up at verse 8. And it reads, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. And he walked through however many millions of people that were watching living rooms and put on this halftime show and gave people something to talk about. Some was able to pick up on it, and others just, enjoyed it for what it was, entertainment, okay? But be sober, be vigilant, and make no mistake about it. You lusting after someone else's wife is not, righteous, okay? You lusting after somebody else's wife, knowing that that woman is married, is not righteous, okay? Remove yourself from the situation, okay? If you know you lusting after this woman, remove yourself, okay? Don't sit there and try to think about ways how you can get this woman to, sleep with you or have intercourse with you, knowing that she's already married to someone else, okay? Even if she does say it's okay for you to, be friends with her or, kick it with her outside of work or whatever, you put yourself in a position that you don't want to put yourself in, okay? Don't tempt fate, okay? Knowing this, just cut off the relationship. Keep it strictly what it is, work, and that's it. Don't sit there try to, sparking up conversations and taking it more than what. No, keep it strictly business, man. Okay? Keep things strictly on the level of professionalism, all right? And don't be, influenced by what you see on TV or in the movies or whatever it is, okay? That's why we have to be sober, be vigilant, okay? Know these things. Know that it's, against our culture, against our laws, statutes that, sleeping with, other men's wives is not, righteous, okay? And if you doing that, you have to repent and come out of that lifestyle, all right? While you still have time, okay? Repent, be ye converted, okay? Stop sleeping with, women that are married, all right? That's adultery. So be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, and he knows this. He wants you to continue to stay in sin. So that way you don't have that hedge, that protection around you when all hell breaks loose. All right? It says, but what? But because it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Okay? And he gonna use this, little bit time he got left to try to get as many people to still commit sin as he can, all the way up until that time. All right? So with that being said, I pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom.